Now I have for you a very intense match. This is a 3 versus 3 between community members, including me, and we are going to be brawling up against each other. So we got the Modest, Captain, and Ugandan on NATO. We got me, Girthquake, as the KDA, and I can already tell you that I'm not gonna have a good time here. Gamerword and Holly. So Gamer is Pious. He's gonna be playing on the middle. We got Holly on the far left, and it's basically Holly's first time playing this map. So you can already guess that there is going to be some interesting things happening here. And we got me on the right side. Now my job is mainly just to defend the right. Fox with the KDA is kind of awkward. I tried to do some pushes, but I really noticed where I'm lacking as the KDA. Well, we're not gonna have a great time. We're up against US Mechanized as well, so that is actually a really bad toss-up for us. Now Gamer is playing as the 39. So he will have a lot of BMPs. He's also calling in a couple of T62s in the beginning. Really cost-effective 85-point units. A couple of Iglas, a couple of Resvetka teams, even an Mi-24K for recon, and also immediately starts with 120mm mortars. I respect that big time. And on the left side of it, he has, let's zoom out a little bit, he has some Motostrelakis, and also a couple in BMP3s, a couple of Iglas and T62. So that seems to be his starter push here. 2 tanks, a BMP, or a couple of Motostrelakis and manpads, and the same thing here, which is a really interesting little start. You kind of have everything that way, and even mortars. Interesting. I'm gonna try to use that for from now on. And Holly on the left is playing as a 79th, so we got a couple of tanks, BMPs, BTRs with Motostrelakis, also some manpads moving up, and also a recon heli that is going to the left. Now I will be keeping it in my point of view for most of it, to give you, guys, an idea of what I'm thinking at one point, since I am also in this game, and that's something I can do if I'm watching it from my point of view, since we also played it from my point of view. Makes sense, right? So Holly, again, this is Holly's first time playing on the map, and Holly didn't really realize the importance of the far left flank here on this map. So Holly definitely got taught. He got taught pretty good. Now my plan on the right side here is to get Spetsnaz, the regular Spetsnaz, and the GRU to the right side in this beautiful combo here. The Spetsnaz GRU being 65 points and the regular Spetsnaz 80. Quite a cost-effective combo of units to have. Now we do spot that helicopter. Definitely not good for the BRDM, but we got some AA in the back. We got this big old buck in the back and a couple of extra infantry. But yeah, I really love this start that Gamer is going with. 2 manpads, a light tank, 2 light tanks, a BMP3, and also a Resvetka. Like, that seems really good. I need to try that out. I need to build my battle groups a little bit differently. I might have to go back to them and just adjust them. Speaking of battle groups, you guys can check out my own battle groups by joining the Discord. There is a Saucy Decks text channel, and in that text channel there's a Google Docs link where I basically post all of the deck codes for all of my battle groups, and that is much easier than me putting each individual battle group in the description of the video, because sometimes I might forget, but also sometimes I update them, and I won't be able to go back to all the old videos and update each and every one of them. That's just gonna be madness. So with that Google Docs, it's basically one place for all my battle groups for all of you to enjoy. So in hindsight, what I'm doing here is calling a couple of T62s, but they're mainly going to be defensive. I don't really push up with them in any way, shape, or form. I am mainly pushing up on the flanks with Spetsnaz and Panzerjäger. In the middle, Gamerword is doing a really good push. T62s, BMP3s, and Iglas pushing up on the flank here, since his Mi-24 kind of already caught him out in the open. If we just go into neutral mode, he's about to meet quite a lot of units here. Leopard 1A5 in the flank, a couple of Marder 1A3s with Panzer Grenadiers. Not gonna be a good time for the Motostrelaki. Manpads are also kind of caught out in the open. Not the best time. T62s though, at close range, are a really good counter for Leopard 1A5. They're basically the same. T62 actually being a little bit better stats-wise. Look at that, 7 versus 15, 10 versus 16. The range and the accuracy at close range don't really do too much for you. And somehow the Leopard 1A5 actually gets clapped. A really good move there. So yeah, on the right side, my Spetsnaz and Panzerjäger. A good combo in my opinion. So you have something really strong against tanks, something really strong against infantry. But having like a Motostrelica unit in between that would also be a good kind of balance. On the left, I call in 2 MiG-23s to take out this Apache, because that is just a very valuable unit to have. But the Modest AA is lacking. Modest has mainly... So he's playing as the US Airborne. And US Airborne, unfortunately, has bad anti-air. It has manpads. Sure, Stingers are good on paper. But they're kind of in a position where they can't really fire much. They're kind of, you know, locked in. The tree's blocking a lot of line of sight. They will only be able to fire once if a plane flies straight over them. So you really want to go for the Vulcans. You have Vulcans in the 82nd and they're really good. You can basically put them anywhere for like 55 points each. And if a plane flies over like this and there's like 2 or 3 Vulcans, that is going to be GG's for that plane. Now on the left side, they actually captured the zone here. So Modest doing a really fast little lightning push with airborne command. And that really kind of nipped us in the butt right there. That is really not good. But luckily for us, NATO team was busy elsewhere, so they kind of forgot to communicate the fact that they took one of our spawns, and only Modest was really pushing in on that spawn here. So luckily for us here, that didn't really get exploited that fast really early on. There's still a lot of tanks here, and that is definitely a problem. So I do call in some of my MiG-23s. I just get them out here circling to try to scare at least some of these tanks off. But this guy's kind of lost in the mission. But luckily we do get that guy out. But there's a pretty, you know, pretty drastic problem going on here. A lot of tanks being spawned in. Got a couple of Sheridans here. That command infantry is still holding. The Sheridans on themselves aren't really going to be a big problem. But still, they have that spawn. If only the enemy team would coordinate at this point and call out that they took over. Now middle here, Gamer, or also known as Pius, is doing a pretty good push here. Motostrelikies and Resvetkas are holding the hill. Mortars are doing a beautiful job at trying to basically... Well, they're really good for suppressing units, but even the 120mm are good for destroying command units like that. So back to the left, a lot of infantry is also being spawned in, but he lacks any type of AA, and that was actually good news for me, or for our team, because we call in Mi-24 to start doing some damage, and we kind of catch the infantry out in the open there. So a little bit of a miscommunication from NATO team here, because the only player that is spawning in units is the Modest. And if they all banked all of their points into the zone, that would have been GG for us. We cannot come back from that, because it's, well, they can literally flood this area real quick and also isolate this zone on the left. So we briefly get a command in there, but the Sheridans spot it and they take it back. AH-1Fs are being spawned in, and with the Stingers they do stun and almost destroy the Mi-24. There was quite a few misses from those Stingers, unfortunately, although it is 50% accuracy. But we have more helicopters. Now what I'm calling in here is an Mi-2 just to spot that enemy command. And we also have T-62s here from Holly pushing in. Sheridans up on the flank are gonna do quite a bit of damage if they get some good hits in. But luckily for us, they don't. So we got a lot of luck on our side here. Oof, man, MiG-23s are just not doing it today here for me. Still quite a bit of a drastic leap that the enemy made here, more than 800 points advance. Luckily though for us here, there is no command, so we kind of neutralize it a little bit by bringing them down to a +2. MiG-23 just gun running the Cobras here, trying to take them out as much as possible, or as fast as possible. And now all of our team is now coordinating to try to get this zone back. The T-62s, again, pretty cost effective, but something like a TOW-2 will take it down really quickly. Luckily the TOW-2 misses. We get again a missed a missed ATGM, but you know, 35 point accuracy. It's mainly for the gun anyways. Good little combo of BRM recon and T-62s though. But yeah, we're not out of the woods yet. We have multiple commands moving in, so Holly's moving in a BRDM, I'm moving in a T-55. just to try to neutralize it. And there we go. With that, we neutralize it. But the Modest is calling in his last unit, an M1 IP Abrams. We're trying to bomb these guys just to stun them, but also maybe to get a command back there. But the bombs do a really good job of panicking these guys. And Su-25 comes in together with Mi-8s to finish the job there. So that tank is gonna go bye-bye here in just a second. So really good push from the Modest, but not really being followed up with anything. Mainly because he didn't clearly communicate with his teammate that this was actually going on. Which is, you know, that is a big mistake. You really want to let your teammates go, you know, be informed on what's going on. And we were all in like separate calls and stuff. So a bit of a mistake here from Modest. But in general, he has a pretty good position still on the front line. Some military police here with the recoilless, not with the recoilless guns, but with M249s. And on the right side we have engineers holding the forest. But they don't have any anti-tank, so the T-62 is actually having a field day here. Blapping those guys on the left. Now, at this point, I scan the left, I don't notice the command, so I move my helicopter, my recon heli to the right to try to do some damage here. The military police here, once again, do not have the M67 recoilless gun, but they can't actually neutralize the command or take out the commands. And with that, we spot the enemy airborne command. And we're going to be taking that out pretty easily. Now these military police units, really not the best. They are shock-trained airborne units, but they're more of a defensive unit. It's good that Modest put them in the forest to defend with, but other than that they don't really serve a purpose, unfortunately. We get some rocket hits, and with that bombing run we finish the job and we neutralize it once again. So a little bit of a scary start there, but in general going pretty good. Now let's go back into our point of view here after seeing all that. So Captain, Badger and I are just building up forces. We have quite a lot of infantry in the forest. We have Machutsen, Panzerjäger, Spetsnaz squads lining up everywhere. And the same thing on the left side here. We did get into an engagement with his forces, and he's basically just crawling all over this mountain, as you can see here. And he has a lot of engineers and gunners that are also moving in with M60s and stuff. And yeah, it really just kind of turned into an infantry fight, which definitely was something that I was hoping for. In the meantime though, we really have a skeleton crew here defending. The 100mm gun basically holding a nice position here to try to get possible sight shots on any armor that might try to move down the road. And just in case, we have some T-62s that are holding out over there as well. Now on the right side we have an engagement here, Spetsnaz trying to charge forward, Panzerjäger taking the first bit of contact. Then we get into Spetsnaz and get those RPOs to work, and they make short work of those fire teams. Look at that. I kind of wish the rate of fire on the RPOs was a bit lower, because just bringing them down to 3 HP is already enough for me. After that, the regular weapons, you know, they're more than enough. So what is the rate of fire on these? 20 rate of fire, so 1 every 3 seconds. And then salvo is 1, so yeah, 1 every 3 seconds. That's actually not too bad, okay, never mind. So going back to the left, Holly did a really good job of stabilizing it. And now he's doing a counter push on the left side with a couple of Motostrelekis and BTR-80s. And he's stabilizing his sector here. And the main fight is really happening here in the middle. Pies is moving up some Sapries versus Flamethrowers, really good toss-up here. But once these Fuchs come into play, well, it's going to be a little bit rougher because Sapries don't have any anti-tank weapons. But this is also Pies' like one of his first games in a long time. We play Wargame Red Dragon together with the mods that exist. But I just told him, look, give WARNO a shot, you'll enjoy quite a bit. And we definitely did. We enjoyed ourselves and had a really nice friendly in-house match that still kind of turned bloody in the end. So 120mm mortars opening up. Let's see if there's anything there that they can stun. I really like these mortar gameplays. They're so satisfying. Especially to see like the firing arc on them. Look at that. There's a lot of verticality in this game, which I really appreciate. Let's go back to the right side here. So we won that little engagement. Spetsnaz are good. We have some supply trucks coming in. And over here we have Machutsen engaging Rangers, really wonderful infantry units. I really want to play with US Mechanized again and get cracking with some Rangers and LRS squads, because man, are they good. Well, up against Machutsen that have 4 LMGs total, they're not gonna have the best time, especially since there's also a Dragunov firing away at them, which does quite a bit of damage. Now over here, we see the introduction of these M106A1 mortars, 107 millimeters, and they do damage. I need to get those in my battle groups as well, because I've been slowly but surely using less and less artillery. I'm not quite sure why. I need to get back on my arty game, I think, but like having some mortars in there, a really good thing to have. I do call in artillery mainly to counter the enemy's artillery, because I have really good artillery with on my battle group. So we do have a field depot here in FSP, but we do call in some artillery to start countering his mortars. But he has quite a few of them, 6 of them. 90 points each. Quite a bit. That's quite a bit. But it's beautiful for just saturating the area and stunning pretty much anything that can be in that area. So really beautiful arc as well, like I said. But we move back, so we're good. He's still firing on that position, so that's the last volley there. After that, it's gonna go on my Spetsnaz. And from the looks of it, he has it all queued up to move to a new position. So very nicely microed there. Now going back to the middle, Pies does have a good foothold in the middle sector. So Sapri's together with Monostrelki is moving up, so good anti-tank. Together with good infantry, although the Sapri's are out of ammo. I hope there's a supply truck coming in. Oh, there's one, but it's not for those guys. Also, an Mi-24K and Mi-24V being coupled together for recon, anti-air, and rocket combos. And we have mortars raining down on the enemy position as well. That is just a wonderful little combination of units to see. Mi-24 spots some enemy targets there and gets going against that M113. Poor little recon there. Really not having a good time. Good usage of helicopters, that's quite daring. I don't see a lot of people do this, but if you micro helis well, they are so deadly. Now there's a Roland 2 here in the back, but it's literally not really seeing much. It's gonna be able to shoot down aircraft, like actual planes, but being stuck behind a building, this guy does not see half the map. It's kind of a unfortunate position there to be in. Do you guys like my nickname, by the way? But yeah, over here we have a renewed push. Our Spetsnaz encounters a lot of armored vehicles as well. We call in a MiG-25 barrage to try to do some damage. Most of it unfortunately does miss, but we do destroy 2 units, a gunner and an engineer unit. And our Spetsnaz over here are trying to gun down these guys, no pun intended. But they have 3 M60s. I definitely need to put these guys in my battle groups. They seem like really good defensive forces to have. Look at that. They're absolutely going to town on my infantry too. That is 6 M60s. No, 9 M60s. My god, dude. Also, the mortars raining down on my troops, doing a ton of emotional damage. And right now, I am losing the fight in the forest. Really not looking good, and we are far behind, more than 850 points. 853 to be exact. But really not good. Now the Spetsnaz does still have RPOs, so we're gonna just have it engage the gunners a little bit, but immediately get stunned by all the 50 cals here. Luckily we do have an AT gun that is doing some damage. Wonderful little AT gun, really fast fire rate, and hard to kill as well. They're actually not easily destroyed. We do call in Mi-24, just in case these guys keep pushing up, so that we can quickly suppress them. But I do want to be wary for any anti-air that might be on the right side. Now speaking of right side, we have a nice little line build up here, so we're having another infantry charge against 50 cals. Spetsnaz are going to make short work of those. And we have Panzerjäger in, you know, just in case there's some armor. And there are some M113s there. Spetsnaz having a nice, you know, pretty good accuracy there with the RPG-22. Not too bad. pretty good engagement on the right, not so good of an engagement on the left. We do have some Pioneers landing right now. And hopefully my Mi-24P will be able to cover them. Now over here, Pius is having a really fun fight. He has 80 gems lined up, BMP3s, Conquerors units, Metis teams. He's playing it like how an armored battle group should play. Really well done there. T62, so not even any like super heavy tanks. He's really a medium or light to medium tank gamer. And he's making use of numbers instead of quality. So quantity over quality with Pius. Definitely hard to beat that. Mortars once again raining down on the command. Command is moving up to the right. Look at that, BMPs 100mm. Far and away. What is the distance on that? 2400 meters. That is actually kind of nuts. That is a really good fire support unit to have. Man, that is beautiful. I need to definitely copy this playstyle. That is really good. Now on the right side, Spetsnaz are still going ham. We are just getting absolutely annihilated by the mortars at this point. Really good micro here by Captain Badger with his mortars. He keeps moving them back and forth. But at this point, we buy our own artillery. We have some 130mm coming in. And we also buy a Smirch later on. But we did make it. We made it to the other side of the road. But it's not done yet. There is 2 M1A1s here, a 50 cal, an M60 command LRS teams with the M14, and even an I-Hawk. And there's even an A-tank coming in. Which is a bit of a problem. Let's see if our buck does some damage. We have 2 bucks. Theoretically, that should clap that A10. But it's just out of range. Very unfortunate. Now the bucks are quite good. They do 9 damage. 55% accuracy. And the aiming time is really fast as well. 1 second for it to aim and fire. It's actually nuts. The I-Hawk on the other hand has basically the same aiming time. But it has more suppression it seems. And also better range on helicopters. But other than that it is quite similar. Also 1 missile less. So yeah, having seen those mortars, kind of a problem. Oops. That is kind of just keeping us at bay here. But luckily we are slowly getting our counter batteries set up. Now over here, Pius has just completely broken through with his Recce forces. And if we just go into neutral mode once again, there is nothing from NATO team defending it. Really dangerous here. But with that, we do have a +3 tick here with 18 minutes left, so we're slowly but surely coming back. Really good recovery on the left side from Holly. Once again, the first time Holly is playing this map, so we didn't really like blame him too much on the left. Holly's still getting banned from the Discord for losing that flank. I'm just kidding. But yeah, that was a really good recovery from Holly. He kind of didn't really realize that, you know, that is area people really push for, which is completely fine. Now on the right side, what I'm doing now is instead of fighting anti-infantry units with other anti-infantry units, I'm calling in T62s because I'm seeing them go ham here in the middle. I'm gonna copy that strategy, and that is really the best way to improve. Look at people that are better than you and just try to recreate their strats. Now artillery here, the mortars are still being a little pain in my bum, but we got some counter arty coming down. Now the 130 mils do take some time to aim up. The aim time on them is 26 seconds, so almost half a minute. And by that time mortars are usually done with their fire mission and they're gonna move away. But we do have some shells inbound and I really want to know if we get some kills here. Let's see if we maybe get like a supply truck or something. Hey, at least we stunned them. Oh, yeah, we get some good hits. Okay, I didn't even notice that. Yeah, it's always worth countering. Definitely always worth countering. And there's also like supply vehicles here that are being stunned or damaged. Oof, almost destroyed one too. But yeah, these guys are going to be less efficient in a battle. So you definitely want to at least counter them and keep them on their toes. But yeah, look at the amount of infantry that is being called in. Mechanized rifles left and right, 50 cals. Honestly, the US mech might be the best counter for KDA, or at least one of the best counters. There's definitely some other battle groups that you could go for. On the left, we get an SU-25 moving into an Apache once again, taking it out, knowing that the US Airborne has relatively bad AA. These missions are, you know, quite possible. Yeah. Manpads are good. The Stinger teams are bad compared to other manpads. Like the Javelin LMLs or Mistrals, they're much better. The manpads should really be like a supplement to your AA net. You really want to build up with Vulcans with the 82nd and just have your planes circle behind your base. Now speaking of behind your base, we do have a Spetsnaz that is trying to go to their artillery, but it was spotted by Captain Badger's Cobra, so he's just keeping it around to try to deny us that position. Now over here we do a fresh little push with Machutsen, Pioneers, T-62s. They're basically gonna just walk over this area and try to cleanse it from any NATO troops. And we also have Machutsen with PKMs and RPG-18s coming up to try to do some better infantry damage. So here we go. And as I said, the Spetsnaz does get spotted, unfortunately. So those guys are kind of forgotten about. Really good pincer move here, forcing Ugandan into the corner of this zone. And really good unit positioning as well. We have ATGMs, Motostrelakis, Resvetka, just a beautiful layered defense. There's even units way back here, and even way back here if things go south. And that is how it should be done. Like with me, my defenses could be a little bit better. There's basically only one line. If that gets broken, that's it. Here we go. Let's go back into neutral mode here. Now we are +3, we have caught up. And right now we are in draw zones, if that makes sense. Point difference is about 100. I believe that's when a draw happens. So we're doing pretty good here with our comeback. Now we have Pioneers and Machutsen pushing forward. The Gunners and Engineers with Flash are going to be a bit of a problem. So we need our tanks forward as well. We don't want to fight this battle once again. So Badger is doing really good with the type of infantry he's putting into the forest for sure. Now mortars are once again opening up, but they have moved to the old position where I countered them before. And I bet you, yep, he's gonna move to his second position after. That is human psychology right there. If you notice that the enemy's moving back and forth, if they're firing from here, just fire your artillery there. They're probably gonna move back to that position. That's kind of funny to see actually. Now the mortars here are also doing some damage on the NATO troops here, but luckily we have our T-62s moving in. And that is really helping us out big time. Now the M72 Laws are gonna damage us quite a bit. 13 AP versus, 10 front armor. Not a great toss-up, but still quite effective. Now finally our mortars, or our artillery is hitting nicely, right on top of the enemy mortars. And we do quite a bit of damage. Definitely hurt these guys enough for them not to be as effective. So that was all in all not really a bad push. Now the tanks here in the forest are just being beautiful at taking out these engineers and gunners. Look at that. So good just to have tanks in forests, especially those light tanks. Super effective. Now the AT weapon here against an LRS, not the best toss-up. Now you definitely do some damage. But with the help of our T-62s, we quickly clean up the LRS, and these guys are really good. Also really expensive. M249 and M14, beautiful combo. Probably one of the best recon units in the game. Now moving back to the middle. Ooh, ATGM from the BMP-3 is so fast. It hits the Leopard 2A4 at like almost 3 kilometers range. Absolutely insane. And at this point I do buy a Smirch. I have really never given these guys a shot because way back, like a couple patches back, Cluster Arty really didn't do anything. It's really bad. But now they do 6 pen, and if you get like a decent spread on them, you can do a ton of damage. So we have a 1A5 and a 2A4 here, and we're going to be aiming that Smirch right on top. Now we keep our push here moving forward as well. We do have AA, but it's a bit in the back here. And we're just trying to at least create a nice little stronghold here, but we're not going to keep pushing up. after that, because that's gonna just be suicide. Now here we go. Smirch is opening up. And let's just see what kind of damage we do. That one obviously misses. But there you go, so 1 hit. Ooh, 2 hits, almost destroyed the 1A5 already. You kind of just need luck as well with where you hit. There you go, 1A5 down, 2A4 down to 4 HP, down to 2 HP. That was good, that was definitely worth it. If he stayed there, he would have been done. That's 1 HP there. Really good, so yeah, Smirch is actually not bad. And we do call in the MiG-23 to finish that off. And with that, I mean, do we lose the plane? Yeah, we do. That was worth it though. That's 1 heavy tank, 1 medium tank, taken care of quite nicely. Now with 10 minutes left, we are now ahead with, I mean, more than 400 points. We really came back from this, especially after neutralizing the middle. Left side is kind of in a deadlock, and so is the right side. I tried pushing for the flanks, but there are so many American mechanized troops, we just can't really deal with them. They're so good. American Mech might actually be one of my favorite battle groups. If I just tune it up a little bit, get some gunners in there, and maybe, you know, maybe just switch it around a little bit, get some mortars, because then they'll be just unstoppable. Mortars are underrated, I think. They really are. So in this case, my FOB is doing really good. But if you don't really have this kind of artillery that uses about, you know, 600 supplies per volley, it's kind of a waste. In that case, you don't really want to do that, because that's 250 points that you have less of. Now we had some artillery raining down on the enemy mortars here, so we're purely using it for counter battery. So we're not trying to like spam or yeah, already spam anyone. And we just try to keep it nice and gentlemanlike in these in-house battles. So mortars getting stunned, getting damaged. That mission is basically a success already. We just want to harass the mortars and not have them get comfortable. Now over here we have a volley of BMP3 ATGMs coming in, getting a nice hit on the martyr before he smokes. And we also have supply trucks going here to get these conkers back on ATGMs, because they have just emptied out everything. And with that, it's really not going to look good for these guys. Conkers opening up, BMP3's opening up, maybe a side shot on a Jaguar. Yep, there goes a Jaguar. But it's not over yet. Luckily, one of the supply trucks survived. And just all hell just breaks loose here. Another Jaguar down. Super nice ATGM units to have. They're not expensive either, 60 points. Look at that. Look how efficient those units are. It's absolutely crazy. Now on the right we have a fresh little attack. We pushed into his engineers with our tanks. Kind of trying to break through that fear of the unknown kind of vibe. Thinking that he still has like a gazillion units there. But it's all engineers, it's all flash. My tanks will have an easy time taking that out. We do call in a MiG-25 bomber. And we get really beautiful bombs right on top of the engineers and gunners. And that demolishes that entire squad. So was it worth it? Well, you be the judge of that one. Let me know. Let me know if you think that was worth it. Now there's still a Cobra, there's still the enemy mortars that are firing on us, but we are countering them as much as we can, just to keep them busy. And it's kind of funny that he's still kind of moving them around in the same areas. They are nicely spread out now though. They're not as clumped up as before. So that's good. Let's see if we do some damage this time. Artillery is opening up. The M46s, really good artillery pieces. The rate of fire is a bit low, but you have basically max range and good damage. There we go. You forgot to move them because I'm doing an attack like this. You forgot to give them an order to move after firing the salvo. But once again we do some damage, but we just don't really do enough damage to destroy them. So maybe for counter battery I just need to get Malkas. Kind of sag. Kind of a sag moment right there. Well, we're +3, there's about 6 minutes left. We definitely pushed them back really nicely. 2A3 is still up there. Apache over there is being a little bit of a problem. And I don't really see any AA over there. Meanwhile, on my side, I am just building up T62s in case I do need to do a counter push. And I kind of wanted to do it, but I was a little bit too late with this because I didn't really expect it to be +3 so quickly. Now Strella's engaging the Apache, dealing almost 3 hits in a row, leaving that guy with 1 HP. And now we have our FLA doing so much damage on that A10. Look at that. Man, these are so good. Seaplane coming in, not to worry. We are non-radar. And we absolutely blast him out of the air. So much splash damage on that guy. But before we manage to start our T62 attack here in the open field, just charging forward, as you can tell, the enemy really doesn't have too much to defend against it. There's a couple of Fireteam ATs that will probably do a ton of damage, but most of it will just get blasted away. But yeah, before that actually happens, we take the middle and we're up to +6, which kind of ruined our little push here. We do call in some SU-22s to take out these M1A1s. Destroy one, we damage the other one quite a bit. But because it's +6, this push basically ends before it even managed to do anything. But really good push here. Or in general, really good match. Middle definitely did the thing. Left side got a little bit hairy there. Ollie forgetting about that flank almost cost us a game. But hey, we got the least losses. So in the end, we just still did pretty good there. Now the Spetsnaz GRU really good in combination with other units, with regular Spetsnaz for example. T62s, enforced, wonderful units actually. Wonderful units. Smirch, quite viable I would say. Especially if the enemy is nicely clumped up. And man, Panzerjäger is just one of my favorite anti-tank units to have. Mortars, I gotta get these mortars in my battle groups right now. Like, the way they have been acting in some of the games that I've been part of, and you just want these mortars. You just want some big old mortars in your battle group, so I'm gonna be adjusting that right after ending the recording. So hope you all enjoyed. I'll see you guys back soon, so take care.